Just waiting for people to pour in. I got my cat in here with me. And so you probably hear my cat meowing, purring, jumping up in my lap. Yeah, we have a close bond. So, yep. So I just wanted to discuss the fights that took place over the weekend. And, of course, since this is a fantasy fight channel, I'm accepting more fight requests always. Need something to write with here. Hey, how's everybody doing? I'm asking that and no one has joined. Ha ha ha. Funny, funny. I'm just waiting on more requests. These are the requests that I have yet to cover. Oh, but I've got you. I've got you. I'm going to get these out for you. Slide counter 5813 requested Mark Johnson versus Inoue. Excellent fight. Can't wait to cover it. Mo Money 1941. Hasim Rahman versus Deontay Wilder. I like it. I like it. My guy Brandon Lamb. Jose Napoles versus Terry Norris. I will get that out for you, sir. And I always enjoy Brandon Lamb's breakdowns in the comment section. A very insightful boxing fan, and I always enjoy it. I had to shorten this name up because I didn't want to butcher it too bad. So I just call you Costa 5632. Tyson versus Tua. I'm not sure if I've covered that one yet. I would definitely look in my archives to see if I've covered that. I want to say I did. I definitely want to say I did. Let's see. Peter Garcia, Obakar versus Danny Garcia. I like it. I like all of these. And I'm Terrell C8658, one of my regulars. And you requested Tommy Morrison versus Ronnie Lyle. And I'm sure I did that one, but I will look through my archives. And some of these I may do again. Because truth be told, I honestly don't feel I always do these fights justice. What else? Anthony David, 8193. Lennox Lewis versus Jamil McCline. I think I did Lennox Lewis versus Ika Beabuchi. I know I didn't do Lennox Lewis versus John Ruiz. So I definitely start working on that. And so we have our first guest. Cody the Great. How are you? I'm glad you could join. Thanks for tuning in. What did you think of this weekend's boxing? Ligma Balls 00. I do thank you for your subscription. I'm always excited to get new subscribers. So I thank you for being a part of the channel. I value every subscriber and I value every viewer. Oh, I have 12 that poured in. Okay. Okay, I take it everyone had a great weekend or is having a great weekend. Cody the Great, what do you do? Well, this channel is dedicated to fantasy fights. I take fantasy fight requests. Joel Dilks, how are you? But getting back to Cody the Great, I basically cover fantasy fights, fantasy fight requests, whether they're past fantasy fights, future fantasy fights, or fights that are actually scheduled. What's going on, Ahmad, Robbie? I'm glad to have you. Thanks for tuning in. And so that's what I do. Although I do cover all things boxing. That's what the channel is mainly about. Fantasy fights. I've always loved fantasy fights. Even when I was in middle school, if I knew two dudes that were always fighting, I always pit them against one another. Hello, Zima. I butchered that. Tom Shesire. How is it going? Yeah, sending love right back to you, Tom. How are you? From York, England. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. No, sir, I don't speak Russian. I barely speak good English. I need to learn another language, though. Oh, thank you for commenting on the mic. I love this mic. It was a gift from my wife, Moonlight. You are amazing too. I really appreciate that. Love the compliments. Hajib, hello there. Cody the Great, thanks for your subscription. I really appreciate that. I really get excited. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul going out to Imad Robbie. Imad Robbie. What do I think of the fight? Abrana Munoz. I'm doing great. How about you? Hello, Akil from India. Wildlife number 7. Hello. Thank you for your subscription. But getting back to Ahmad. If Tyson was the Tyson of old, he'd destroy Jake Paul. He really would. But at this point, I'm not sure. It really could go either way. It really could. I would think that Mike Tyson still has that killer. Well, I won't say he has that killer instinct, but you know what they say: the power is always the last thing to go. So if he catches Jake Paul, I think it's lights out. Cooper Klopp, how's it going? Akil, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Didn't know I was a singer too. You probably didn't expect me to actually do it. So I really don't want Tyson to lose either. The first fight that I saw, I'm 45 years old now, but the first fight I actually sat through back in 1989 was Mike Tyson's first fight against Frank Bruno. Yes, that's the fight that really got me hooked on boxing. I've been hooked ever since. Wildlife 7. I watch football, but to be honest, follow it. I don't follow it as closely as I do boxing. So yeah, I'd really have to do a little more research, but good question. Akil. Yeah, Cody the Great. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. Yet music and entertainment. Well, music and boxing. Those are two of my first loves. Music and boxing. Yes, indeed. How about that Brian Cobbs? Very entertaining fighter. When I think over Adrian Broner's career, it's sad because that's a waste of talent. Wildlife number 7. I do not watch baseball. I do not watch baseball. I'm always looking for new hobbies though, so I'm definitely open to picking up baseball. Yes, indeed. Excuse me. So yes, but yes, that Cobbs. I knew he would win the fight. Adrian Broner, has always had a lot of talent, but never knew what to do with it. He never knew what to do with it, and he should have been fighting more, in my opinion. I truly feel that Adrian Broner was mismanaged in his career. I would have loved him. I would have loved to see him fight guys like Lucas Matisse, Ricky Burns. He shouldn't have skipped over 140, but we all know that. Cody the Great. What do you call a person with no nose and body? I really have to think about that one. Wildlife 7. Is Muhammad Ali good for boxing? He is the best for boxing. As a matter of fact, I consider him the father of modern boxing. That's just my opinion in the way that I look at things. And Muhammad Ali added entertainment value to boxing, with the trash talk, his personality. So yes, he's great for boxing. Cody the Great. Nobody knows. Uh, my wife and kids always tell me I tell corny jokes, so I'm gonna use that and take credit for it. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yes, love Muhammad Ali. Love Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Rumble, young mind, rumble. Ah. I guess that was an okay impression of the great Muhammad Ali. But yes, the absolute greatest. And when Muhammad Ali threw his jab, he threw it like a whip. Pew, pew, pew. Yes. Trey Titan 176, my man. What's good with you, man? Oh, I'm just beyond blessed. I really am. And when I think back over my life, I can just thank God. And that's all I can do. Just gaining a new perspective. That since I'm older, the most important thing you just have to live life. You have to live life to the fullest. Enjoy the people you love and that love you. Amen, brother. Cody the Great. Who was better in their prime, Tyson or Ali? Ali, in my opinion. And the reason being is I consider Ali a complete fighter. Um, Tyson was a little more one dimensional than Ali, although he was great. He was basically seek and destroy with skills. So, absolutely. Trade Titan 176. Leave all the requests you want. That's the life of this channel, the boxing requests. Um, just love the engagement. I just love looking over the requests, thinking about the requests. I'm a better singer than I'm a rapper. Wildlife 7. Who let the dogs out? Who, who? Yeah, I really don't. I don't know. I don't like those bandwagon songs. Yes. Yep. Trey Titan, Ali definitely. But yes, Wildlife 7. Yeah, I don't like those bandwagon songs. Although I like all genres of music. Cody the Great. Do you do YouTube videos? Absolutely. Check out my channel. Absolutely. I just now started doing lives for real. So Trade Titan. Yes. Mickey Ward versus Marcos Maidana. Now we're talking. Ward versus Maidana. Yes, indeed. Ahmad Robbie. Who's 6'2" and missing an ear? Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield. Danny Garcia versus Arturo Gatti. Legendary fights. Yes, indeed. Since your channel is about boxing, do you ever do boxing? That's my one regret, not getting into boxing myself. And I had an opportunity. I had a guy when I was 14 years old who wanted to get me into boxing. But unfortunately, like a dummy, I didn't take that opportunity. I love boxing. I wish I would have did it. I plan on training and sparring just for the experience at some point. Wildlife 7. Do you do WWE? Well, to me, it's always WWF. And I watched it during the Attitude Era, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Macho Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the $1 Million Man. Yes. So I used to. I used to. And when it was good, in my opinion. But it's forever WWF. I refuse to call it WWE. That's just my bias and nostalgia. Trey Titan 176. Laura versus Corte. Yes. Laura versus Corte. And I've actually thought about this fight. I'm sure I haven't done it, but yes, I like it. What's my favorite song? I have a lot of favorite songs. But one that I'm really that I can't get out of my head right now is the system. Don't disturb this groove. Don't disturb this groove. Da 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 da. I'm so into you. Ba 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 ba. Don't disturb this groove. Da 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 da. I'm so into you. Love that song. I'm bad with words. Da 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 da. The mic looks sick. Yeah. My wife has good taste. Yeah, she knows me well. This was a gift from her. Roman Reigns lost finally. And it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. Yep. It's definitely bound to happen. How about that Shushu Carrington? I love fighters like that. I love pure boxers. If you're into movies, you should check out Boy Kills. I'm definitely into movies. As a matter of fact, I watch too much TV. I'm always binge watching something, so I would definitely check that out. Ahmad Robbie, thanks for the recommendation. Boy Kills World. What genre is that? I guess I'll find out when I type it in. Ahmad Robbie. It's an amazing movie, so underrated. Yes, a lot of movies are underrated. A lot of movies that don't receive the push that they deserve. Yes, I have a lot of those movies on my list. My favorite movie, I love the Rockies, the Rocky franchise, of course. Being that I'm a boxing fan, before streaming was a thing, I remember bugging my wife to get that box set for me. It was part 1 through 5, and then when 6 came out, Rocky Balboa, I bought that too. Yes, indeed. What's another one of my favorite movies? Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger, The Running Man. Yes, back in the day, I was a big Arnold fan. Yes, comedy is good. Yes, you have to laugh to keep from crying sometimes. But I remember I was a little boy back in the '80s, and I was always begging my mother to take me to the movies every time Arnold had a movie out. And being the great mother she did, that she was, she spoiled me a little bit. I'm not gonna even I'm not gonna even front, and I'm glad she did. And do you play video games? I haven't for years. Excuse me. Sometimes I'll play my son on the basketball game 2K, and he whooped me bad till I finally figured out what his secret was. So back in the day, I played video games. When the old consoles was out, the Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo. Trey Titan, Shushu versus Brian Mitchell. Now we're talking. Shushu Carrington versus Brian Mitchell. I like it. I like it. I like it. Yeah, after I saw Shushu last night, I already had him against Prince Nassim Hamed. And so that's my request to myself. I'll do that fight at some point, but you all's request is my first priority. So when I finish doing you all's request, which Rocky, in your opinion, is the best? Cody the Great. I love part 4. I love part 4 because Rocky seemed to reach full maturity, as far as his mentality, as far as his boxing. He was more cut up in his body. So number 4 was my favorite one. The only 2 things I didn't like is Apollo Creed's death, of course, and the fact that they didn't use the Rocky theme song. That was a big mistake. What's my favorite food? Almost everything. I love to eat. That's my problem. But fish. I love seafood. I love fried seafood. I love fried food. The doctor told me to stay away from fried food, but that just made me want it more. Shakur Stevenson versus Alexis Arguello. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, I like that one. And a lot of times we make the mistake, as fans, my opinion of always thinking that the past fighters are automatically better. But I just feel that we need to think more critically. Just think about the stylistic realities. Just think about each fighter individually. But that's my soapbox. I try not to get on. Are you planning on going to live media events, Trey? Man, I would love to do that. That's the goal. That's definitely the goal. I would love to do more of that. And it's my goal to get more into the boxing world. And this channel is a start for me. So, man, I really enjoyed you, Cody the Great. I really enjoyed you. Hope to see you back. I'm gonna do more lives, and leave me some fight requests or just anything you want me to cover about boxing. What about Creed? Yes, I did watch the trilogy. Um, oh man, I didn't miss them. Yeah, the first week it was out, I was trying to get there. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I feel that number two was the best. Yeah, because you saw him push harder in that movie, in the scene where Rocky was training him and he fell out in the street and got up. That was amazing. Jake LaMotta versus Gene Foreman. I actually did that fight yesterday, Wildlife 7. I actually did that fight yesterday. But I will leave you a link. I will leave you a link in the comment section. But yes, yes, I covered that fight yesterday. But thank you for your request. Thank you for your request. I'm really enjoying you all. I really am. Just tap that like for me. That will help me out tremendously. Yes, indeedy. Xander Zayas. I really thought he was going to stop that dude. Yep. Xander is very heavy handed. Ahmad, right? Yep. Southpaw was good. It was good. Of course, I didn't. Well, I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it. So, but it was good. I mean, it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a boxing fan. I love boxing. I love boxing movies. But what I love about boxing movies these days compared to yesteryear is boxing movies are a little more realistic than they were of yesteryear. Because yesteryear everyone was just taking flush punches. Referee didn't stop the fight or anything. That's not realistic to boxing. I'm embarrassed to admit this. I didn't know there was a second Southpaw. $1 Million Baby. Yes. Yeah, I always thought Hillary Swank was so cute. So Lennox Lewis versus Chris Bird. I covered that fight. Wildlife 7. I covered that fight a couple of weeks ago. I'll get you that link. I'll get you that link. And sometimes I'll do part two of a video that I feel I haven't done much justice. But yes, that video is pretty fresh. And so I'll get you those links. I'll get you those links. Just have to take some notes here. Yeah, $1 Million Baby. Oh yes, definitely love that one. Yep, definitely more realistic. Yeah, although I love all the Rockies, I think he was taking too many shots. He was taking too many unanswered shots, and it should have been a little more back and forth. But of course, the storylines were perfection. The storylines were perfection. Yep. Remember Penitentiary? Remember yeah, Too Sweet? And I forget the movie to where the same actor, Leon Isaac Kennedy, he played Leon the Lover, and Muhammad Ali was actually in that movie. Yeah, Muhammad Ali was actually in that movie, and he trained him. So what's the name of that movie? I'll remember it as soon as I get off this live. But that's how it always goes. Yes. Yeah. Do y'all think Xander Zayas is the next Puerto Rican star? He has potential with that power. Donald Curry versus Ike Corte, Word Life 7. I actually did that one too. Body and Soul. That was it. Wish I. How did I forget that? How did I forget that? Or I may not have done that, but I'll check Wildlife 7. Curry versus Corte. James Kennedy. Ooh, she was a baddie. My goodness. Why did you have to get me started, Trey? Why did you have to get me started? Oh my goodness. She was an angel. Man, yeah, he didn't know what he had. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Man, I'm trying to think about boxing here. Oh man, but she was a beauty. Yeah, she was a beauty. And my goodness. Yes. You remember that song that was in dun, 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 dun. No, you're good, man. I was already thinking it before you said it. I was already thinking it before you said it. Yes, indeedy. My oh my. Yeah. But yes. Ali versus Logan Paul. Okay. Wildlife. Yeah, Muhammad Ali. I'll take it. Yeah. Ali versus Logan Paul. Yes, indeedy. And Floyd really created a market with these crossover fights. And so it kind of reminds me of blood sport, mixed martial arts. Yeah, so yeah, it's very interesting. Um, Boxing and combat sports is very interesting these days. Yes, indeed. David Benavidez versus Mike McCollum. Ooh, ooh. Benavidez versus McCollum. Man, I'm going to make an admission here. I'm going to make an admission. I was hating on Benavidez a little bit because I was a Canelo fan and I was protecting Canelo a little bit. But I'm the type of person to where if you proven yourself, I'm going to be fair. And David Benavidez, he pressed the issue. He beat the guys he needed to beat to prove that he deserves the shot at Canelo. So there's nothing I can say. He deserves the shot. Give him the shot. And that's my thing. And that was my frustration with Demetrius Andre, Jamal Charlo, and David Benavidez at first. They wanted a fight with Canelo, which is fine, but they were inactive. They were just sitting around waiting for him to give them a shot. But Benavidez finally got the message. And so, unfortunately, you have to fight and you have to and the person you think is ducking you, you have to back them into a corner. Tyson Fury versus Shakur Stevenson. Wildlife 7. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a weight disparity there. Fury versus Stevenson. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, it's always fun to think about them. To be honest with you, I'm always thinking about Floyd Mayweather versus Andre Ward, although I know that there's a big weight disparity there. I'm just thinking about the sizes. And I'm just thinking, and sometimes I'm always just thinking about any possible way they could meet, although I know it's far fetched. or maybe Floyd Mayweather could meet him at middleweight or something. I don't know. Yeah, it was unrealistic, but just I'm thinking if they were around the same size, that would have been a tremendous fight. Cody the Great, how long do you think this stream will go? It won't go too much longer, to tell you the truth. Maybe another 10, 20 minutes. Yes, I haven't finished the honeydew list yet, so yeah, the honeydew list will probably end it soon. So, Lamont Peterson versus Raleigh Romero. That's why I like you, Trey. Boy, you come up with some great ones. Peterson versus Romero. Lamont Peterson is definitely underrated. Spence versus Inu. Wildlife. I'll do my best to make that one work. I'll think of any possible way, but yeah. Wildlife 7. Spence versus Inu. But in a way, could possibly go up in weight at some point with his skills. You have a great day too, Mr. Cody the Great. Um, I hope you continue to tune in to the channel. I have some great things planned for this channel, and yeah, if you would all give me some likes, yeah, that would help me reach some of these goals. Yes, indeedy. It was something else boxing related I was thinking about. But yes, going back to Canelo and Benavidez. Um, yeah, Benavidez is wicked. The guy is just wicked, and he's abusive in there. He doesn't let his opponents rest, and he's just a punishing fighter. All right, Mr. Ahmad Robbie, man, thanks for tuning in. 6 hours of sleep before work tomorrow. I can definitely relate. I'm just now making it a point to try to get enough rest, but it's not easy. Yeah, a lot of times I'm going to bed at 12 and 1 and have to get up at 6 in the morning. Why I do that, I don't know. But yes, how do you like? Hmm. Sounds like your question was cut off. Man, I really appreciate it, Mr. Ahmad, Robbie. Really appreciate that. It just gives me motivation and it gets me more excited about this channel. Amir Khan versus Blair Cobbs. Yes, 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 yes. Khan versus Cobbs. Amir Khan in his heyday versus Cobbs. Absolutely. Absolutely. Duran versus Frazier, Wildlife 7. This is too much of a weight disparity there. Too much of a weight disparity. Yeah. Yeah, and to tell you the truth, Joe Frazier would have Roberto Duran for lunch. Yeah. Yeah, that Frazier was no joke. That dude was breaking ribs. Appreciate the likes, Cody the Great. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Hey, I'll go for a few more minutes here. I'll go for a few more minutes. Yeah, just appreciate you all for tuning in. Really do. Yes, indeed. And getting back to David Benavidez. Doesn't he throw his punches from the weirdest angles? That dude has some angles on his shots. And those shots are like pistons. Pop, pop, pop. Especially that lead right hand. So I wouldn't mind seeing him go up in weight to fight the winner of Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev. And when that fight finally takes place. Wildlife 7, Tyson versus Frazier. I don't think I've done that. But it's been so long, I think I want to redo that fight. Tyson versus Frazier. And that's the fight. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. That's the template I use for Ali versus Tyson, because Ali and Tyson are very similar. Excuse me. Ooh, allergy strike again. Allergy strike again. But that's my template, and that's why I think that's why I always favor Ali over Tyson. And that's my template. Yes, indeed. Now I do feel that Tyson was quicker than Joe Frazier. I think he had better footwork than Frazier, but I think Frazier was tougher. As a matter of fact, the very first fight I did on this channel, and I'll drop the link somewhere, is Ali versus Tyson. That was my very first fantasy fight, and I would love to do that fight again. Who do I think is the worst boxer ever? Hey, Trey Titan. I actually did Samuel Peter versus David Tua a couple of weeks ago, but I'll be sure to get you that link. Write myself a reminder. I have to think on that. The worst boxer in the world. I don't necessarily think in terms of worst boxer, maybe worst champion. And I would say that the worst champion was Adonis Stevenson. Although he could box, although he was dangerous, he had lightning speed and dynamite power. He just never had that career defining fight. And just the fact that he somehow got out of fighting Sergey Kovalev. So I have to think about who's the worst fighter. I'm always thinking in terms of who's the worst champion. Wildlife. And I would definitely subscribe. Oh, I believe in subscription for subscription, support for support. So yes, I would definitely subscribe to your channel. What's going on, Seymour Jones? What's happening? I hope all is well with you. Hope all is well with you, sir. Hope all is well with you. I'm helping my wife move some boxes and bins this evening. So she's not ready for me yet. So she'll be calling soon. So yeah. Hope all is well with you, Seymour Jones. Eddie Chambers. Oh, yes. Eddie Chambers versus Charles Martin. Yes, indeedy. That's Eddie Chambers versus Prince Charles Martin. And I was excited about Wildlife #7. I would definitely subscribe. But I was excited about Charles Martin, and I'm still a fan, to tell you the truth. But he just, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes good fighters have bad luck. Yeah, but I was really excited about him. I love Southpaws. I'm a lover of Southpaws. So I was really looking forward to him. I do feel he held back on Jared Anderson. I feel he held back for whatever reason. Have a good one, Wildlife #7. Thanks for tuning in. Yep. And as much as I love the Adonis Stevenson, and I hate criticizing fighters, but sometimes it is what it is. He avoided a lot of the top fighters. So he never really, he had that impressive KO victory over Chad Dawson, but just kind of, yeah, just kind of held the belt hostage, in my opinion. Never had that career defining fight. Seemed like he was just in it to make the money, which is fine. But us diehard fans, we like those legacy fights. And Adonis Steven never had that legacy fight. And he had the potential. He had the potential to really accomplish some great things in the sport. Danny Jacobs versus Carl Froch. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And I have a controversial opinion about Triple G. You mentioned Triple G, and that made me think about you. I'm sorry, you mentioned Danny Jacobs, and that made me think of his fight with Triple G. And I feel that Danny Jacobs edged that fight. I really do. It was close and could have went either way, but I truly feel that Daniel Jacobs won that fight, in my opinion. But this is boxing, and it is what it is. So I wish they would have had a rematch at some point. But yes, Danny Jacobs versus Carl Froch. Great stylistic matchups. And and that's the one thing I look at or I look for in great potential fights, great potential fantasy fights is it's all about the styles. It's all about the styles. It's not necessarily the name, it's not necessarily the resume or the legacy. It's all about those styles. Because when you fight, on fight night, you can bring your experience in the ring, of course, but you can't bring your resume in, in there, and your name is not going to win the fight. Chad Dawson versus Roy Jones Jr. Excuse me. And Trey, I on another social media platform, I came up with that fight and everybody mocked me. And that's so frustrating because people aren't thinking about the stylistic matchups. Chad Dawson wasn't necessarily flashy, but Chad Dawson was dangerous. Chad Dawson was extremely technically, fundamentally sound, and he was very awkward. So the thing is, people they go straight to legacy. They go straight to big name. They go straight to bias. But a lot of fans, in my opinion, I'm not judging, but a lot of people aren't thinking about the stylistic factors. Yep. Glenn Johnson versus Jean Pascal, most definitely. Yes, indeedy. Why haven't I thought of these? Why haven't I thought of these? I don't mean to sound so gross. My allergies are just always cutting up. My allergies are always cutting up. Yeah. And John Pascal had a lot of potential, could have been a lot greater than he was, but for some reason he always gassed out, became gun shy, and stopped throwing shots. I was extremely disappointed in him in the Kovalev rematch. I don't feel that he was trying. Now, of course, I'm not the one in the ring taking the shots, taking the punishment, and I understand that. I'm speaking as a fan. No disrespect intended. None at all. So, what's your thoughts on this Errol Spence versus Fundora fight? I'm not sure if it's official or not. I just been hearing rumblings. Of course, I would love to see my guy Spence come back in impressive fashion. So, yeah, I'm a big Spence fan. Even after the Bud loss, in my opinion, if you're a fan, you're a fan. Win, lose, or draw. Don't turn your back on a fighter because they lose. You know what happens. At the end of the day, someone has to win, someone has to lose. Seymour Jones. Is Adrian Broner the new Zab Judah? Minus the heart. He is definitely the new Zab Judah. So Titan, Trey Titan, Kawasaki versus Better BF. Yes. Yes. And my disappointment with Zab Judah. Excuse me. I might get in trouble for saying this, but I feel that Zab was just as good as Floyd. He was just as talented as Floyd. I feel that he was a little quicker than Floyd, but he just didn't seem to have that same work ethic as Floyd. But man, when Zab Judah was on it, that dude was on it. He threw his punches like lightning bolts, and I was so impressed by his speed, his reflexes, his quickness. Yes, I just wish that he could have done more. He has accomplished a lot in the sport, but I just wish that he didn't lose to guys like Carlos Baldomir. I feel that the Joshua Clottey fight was in his grasp. I feel that he could have pushed through and won that fight. Yes, I was a Zab Judah fan, and he was just as good as Floyd. A little quicker, as I said. But man, yeah, when I think about that Carlos Baldomir fight, I'm still mad at him for losing that fight. Yes, yes, Trey Titan, still mad at him for that loss. Yeah, Carlos Baldomir was slow. Carlos Baldomir telegraphed his shots, so there was no reason at all. Now I realize things happen in the sport, but not that. Not that. There is no way he should have won. He should have lost that fight. Oh my goodness. How? Carlos Baldomir was beneath Zab Judah, in my opinion. Just being honest. Just being honest. Zab Judah had elite skills and talent, but just got in his own way somehow. Trey Titan. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Miguel Cotto, yeah, he was roughing Zab up a little bit. Yeah, and he was hitting him low. I didn't care for Arthur McCanty Jr.'s lectures when Zab was clearly hurt from illegal shots. Not one of my favorite referees for some reason. But Zab showed a lot of heart in that fight with Cotto. He really did. And to me, Zab Judah gave Miguel Cotto his first real test. Yeah, so Zab showed a lot of heart in that fight. And yes, he showed a lot of heart and skill and experience against Danny Garcia. So Zab was the real deal. Zab was the real deal. Um, he had a tremendous career, in my opinion, but I feel that it could have been better and he could have accomplished so much more. I feel that he could have beaten Amir Khan if he really wanted to, but he just didn't have the self-belief in that fight. Didn't have the self-belief in that fight. Um, guess I'll be on here for about 5 more minutes. But in the near future, I'm gonna do longer lives. I'm gonna block off my schedule, and I'm really gonna get into more of these fantasy fights or just anything boxing related. I'm just trying to I'm just trying to dedicate more time into what I love, which is boxing. Aaron Davis. Yes, Zab Judah versus Aaron Davis. Yeah, I remember my stepfather was a big fan of Superman Aaron Davis. So it would be a battle of the supers. And I'm surprised that Superman Aaron Davis's name doesn't come up more often. I really am. The guy was nice. The guy was nice in that ring. And a fight with Zab Judah. Yes, indeedy. Oh, yes. And I just happen to be thinking about boxing in the 90s. That was a tremendous era, especially for heavyweights. And everybody was fighting each other. It was a beautiful thing. Oscar versus Felix Trinidad. Holyfield versus Tyson. Holyfield versus Foreman. Tyson versus Ruddock. Yep, he was very underrated. Very underrated. And sometimes, unfortunately, the great fighters fall through the cracks. It doesn't make it right, but that's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of the beast. Yes, indeed. Yeah, but getting back to Cotto versus Zab Judah, yeah, Cotto was hurting him. He was hurting him south of the border. He was putting a hurting on him south of the border. But I will say that that was the first time that I was convinced that Miguel Cotto was the real deal. Seymour Jones. I don't think I've done Clottey versus Corte. I like it though. I like it. And I love fighters like Joshua Clottey and Corte because I like technical fighters. I like tactical bouts. And it doesn't have to be a slugfest to me for it to be exciting. You know, I like those tactical bouts to where both guys aren't really landing a whole lot, but they're just using their skills and they're just using their fundamentals. Yeah, so I'm different, and I love fights like this. So they're not boring to me. Fighters like Floyd, Andre Ward, Rigondeaux, those guys aren't boring to me. There's nothing more exciting than a display of the sweet science. Trey Titan, Montel Griffith versus Antonio Tarver. They actually fought back in 2004, I believe. So I'll drop that link for you. Yes. Yeah, I do need excitement. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just a weirdo. Yeah. Those kind of fights are exciting to me. I don't know why. Yeah, I love to see the fundamentals. I love to see the fundamentals. Yes, indeedy. But yes, Trey Titan, they actually fought. And I won't spoil it for you. I'll just drop the link for you some. Yeah. It was so long ago. It was so long ago, and I actually forgot about it until you brought it up, Trey. I really did. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, they actually fought. But yes, yes, they did. And I've done fantasy fights before to where the guys actually fought, or I posted fantasy fights and I forgot they fought. Who did I do that to? Who did I do that to? Yeah, I'm drawing a blank, but I know I did it before. I'm like, oh man, yeah. So it's all good. It's all good. So I really enjoyed this conversation. I've got all the fantasy fights from this stream. I really appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate your participation. I appreciate the new subs. I'm going to do more live videos. This is very enjoyable. There's nothing I like more than talking boxing. So, Winky Wright versus Corey Spinks. Yes. Wright versus Spinks. Yes. And I think on the next live, yeah, absolutely, Trey, absolutely. And I think on the next live, I'm gonna bring some of you on to actually. I'm gonna invite. I'm gonna invite you all to actually chat. So, I really do thank you all. Really do appreciate you all. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you on the next live.